So assumed of the three elements. Okay, so I'm just gonna look at it quickly. So let's just look at what the result is. So what we're looking at here is just a mix of the velocity plus the heat. So I'm just gonna visualize right now just my heat, because that's what matters to me. So I'm gonna use heat and heat and just make this yellow for now. Okay, so that's one of the caches. Okay, so that was actually fire 3. So now if I go to the second one, this one was fire 2, I guess. Yes. And we already saw the first one. We'll just look at it one more time. And that's fire 1. Okay, so now we have our 3 layers of fire ready. So we're going to start with like a dust layer. Okay, so let's go get rid of this. So I'm gonna start with the emitter. So geo, and I'm gonna call this dust emitter. Actually, yeah. So I'm gonna start with a sphere, because I'm gonna make it from a sphere right now. Okay, so let me just display this. Switch this to polygons. Gonna add a bit more detail on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna use a facet to compute my normals. So I'm just gonna click on post compute normals. Now I'm gonna add just some first transform sub, and I'm gonna scale down on the y-axis. Like this, and I'm gonna add now a mountain sub. So let's just change a bit all this. So I'm gonna reduce the height, and then I'm gonna go with a higher frequency. And then yeah, it doesn't really matter the offset. I'm gonna leave it like this. Now I'm just gonna raise it up a little bit. So actually let me rename this scale Y, and this move up. Okay, just yeah, that's gonna be good enough. And I'm just gonna go to 0.5. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna create first a bound. Okay, and I'm gonna call this one just BB for bounding box. I'm gonna add now a null. Call this one out. How did I name it for my fire, just to keep the same names? Okay. So dust source 1. Oops. Okay. There, and now I'm gonna create my volume. So fluid source, and I'm gonna move this here. So such a bit density, that's fine. I'm gonna add a second one, and that's gonna be the temperature. Density, I'm gonna scale it up to 1.5. Division size, I'm gonna lower it to 0.04. Okay. Now I'm gonna add some noise in there. So scale, I'm gonna raise it to 1.5. Make it smaller a little bit. Offset doesn't really matter. So, and I'm gonna put a higher influence than influence 0.7, and pulse duration 0.05. Okay, make a really small value here. Cell settings, I'm gonna go with a really small split distance. Minimum distance, I'm gonna make it a little bit higher. Smaller cell size, and bring up the scale a tiny bit. And yeah, I'm just gonna make it a bit higher. Actually, I don't want to scale it down that much. Let's bring it back up to 0.7. Okay. So we're good here. Now what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna add some velocity to there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna use a scatter. Plug it after my transform, move up, lower to 3000 points. Okay, so now I'm just gonna multiply a little bit on normals. Okay, add some noise, tiny bit in there. So I'm gonna add a VOPS up. And I'm gonna use an NT alias flow noise. No, I don't need it to be animated, so I'm gonna go with just an NT alias noise. Get the position, promote frequency, offset, amplitude, and roughness. Now I'm gonna multiply my normals by that value and plug it back in here. So I don't want to invert it. So I'm gonna just in here add a fit. So I'm gonna grab everything from -1, okay, and clamp it between 0 and 1. Actually fit it between 0 and 1. And I'm gonna just promote the max destination. Like this. Okay, that's gonna be fine. So, fluid source again. I'm gonna go straight to container settings and here put collision. So it sets that up as a collision object. Even though we're not gonna use this for collision, but yeah, we might add it later, you know, as a collision object if we want to have some interaction with my fluid when it gets emitted, you know, to break up my source. That could be a solution. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go stem points. I'm gonna go with a small value of 0.05. Stem point. I'm gonna go sample distance a little bit higher. Turn off the output SDF. The velocity volume I'm gonna use now here, the normals. And I'm gonna name this to vel because I just want the velocity. I'm gonna turn off the visualization here. I'm gonna go with a higher sample distance. Oops, that's too high. 0.5. So I'm gonna add some curl noise on it. Just for 1 second. Is it going to show me anything there? Nope. So full size 0.2. I'm gonna leave everything else here like it is. And I'm gonna merge this together. Like this. So here we have the main emitter for the density and temperature. Here we have a velocity. Now I'm gonna add another null. I'm gonna put that here, and that's gonna be out. Dust 1, and I'm gonna separate here all 3 fields. Okay, so density, temperature, and velocity. So, oops. So delete, and I'm gonna show you in a second why I'm doing this. So just one density, and here I'm gonna do at name is equal to density, delete non-selected, and I should have only one primitive, so that's correct. And I'm just gonna copy paste this one 2 times. This one is going to be the temperature, so temperature, and finally the velocity. Okay, and I should have free primitive. Okay, let's do that again. So temperature, and I guess okay, that's fine. And here velocity. Okay. So, because we're going to use this to set up an initial state to a simulation, okay? And there's one last thing I want to do here quickly. So let me just put this already inside Dropbox, backdrop. So this, I'm gonna rename it test 1. And I'm going to create a collision object now just to have like a ground plane. So this, you might want to update it if you already know that you're going to have like a specific ground to interact with. But if it's really a generic flat ground plane you're going to use, that's going to be just working perfectly. So I'm going to go with a grid. And I'm going to scale it up a little bit. And I'm going to extrude this to get a volume out of it. So let's bring this down. Option output back. Okay, so now I have my volume here, my box, and I'm gonna create a volume. Okay, so fluid source. Oops. And I'm gonna go straight here as collision. Make that a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna make this 0.2. So yeah, I left everything as it is, okay? So just double checked it. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm just gonna put a null. And out collision. Okay, I'm gonna save my file as exploratory test 1. And I'm just going to turn those off for now. because I don't want to cook them. Okay, and I'm gonna create the dot network. So I'm gonna call this dust one sim. Wrong key. Make it red. And first thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna just make sure I'm using the substeps if I have it on my OTL turned on. Okay, so if ch save substeps is equal to 0, then 1, otherwise we're going to grab the amount of substeps we have on OTL. And I think, yeah, I didn't do it for the fires, so let's just copy this and just paste it to all 3 of them here. Okay, so back to our dust. So I'm gonna go with smoke object division size 0.06 scale. So this we're going to look at the bounding box. Okay, we had. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go 2.3 multiply by bounding box and we're going to go to dust emitters and underscore BB, then D capital D underscore X size. Okay, and I'm just gonna copy this and paste it and just change the size here to Y and Z. Now we're going to go for the centroid, okay, of that same object. So I'm gonna just copy this. Okay, I'm gonna go open this because it's not showing properly. D underscore X and copy, paste, just change the X to Y and Z. So now if I look at this and just come here and display this one. So okay, so now we see the size of a container, so that's fine. Let's turn this one on, change just some visualizations here. Density, okay, then emission, we're going to go making 5 here. We're going to make this temperature and I'm gonna leave this as is. I'm gonna turn off the bounding box and the density here. So now we're going to go to the initial data. So what I want to do, it's like I said, I want to grab those different fields at the first frame, just to make sure that it gets from the very first cook already some data, and it's not coming from our emitter. Okay, with our source volume node. So this is really gonna get it right away from our emitters. So not emitters, sorry, a sub object. So here we're going to go to test emitter, and that's going to be the density. So this one density, and I'm just gonna copy this. So here we're going to put the temperature, and finally the velocity. Okay, so this is working, and I'm gonna rename this to just dust. Now I'm gonna go with my solver, so I'm gonna go just arrow solver. Okay, I'm gonna put here a resize already. Now I'm gonna go with two source volumes, so that's gonna be the collision, and that's gonna be my emitter. Okay, so let's start with the emitter. So I'm gonna go to this emitter, the source one. Oh, I wanna do, yeah, it's a relative path. Okay, so just making sure. No, that's the one I wanted. Okay. So I'm gonna change a bit those values, and I'm gonna animate them as well. So I'm gonna start with temperature at frame 1. Just gonna turn off here my simulation, so I'm gonna be able to move my timeline down here without having it to wait to cook. So now this at frame 2 for the temperature is going to be at 0. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring here a code, and I'm going to move it just from one frame. I want my first keyframe to be at frame 2. Okay. So there, because I just want to wrong key, give it the first frame to compute properly without changing the values. And so now if I go to frame 3, I'm gonna grab my scale source, I'm gonna turn it off, And I'm gonna go a bit further to like frame 7 and bring down the scale velocity as well. Okay. So I'm going to switch the velocity to add particle portion. I'm leaving it like this. So density, temperature, val. Okay. One thing I want to do, I want to multiply my velocity based on my density. So I'm going to use here the masks, and this will really allow me to multiply my source volume, my velocity volume, okay, by my density field. Okay, so my collision object, so I'm gonna rename this collision. I'm gonna switch this already to collision. So here I'm gonna go and grab out collisions, and again that should be on by default. I don't think, unfortunately, there's a way to turn export relative path on to make it this as a default. So and I'm gonna leave everything as is. Yeah. And now just my resize. First thing I'm gonna do is turn off max bound. Okay. Padding, I'm gonna use 0.4. And I'm gonna leave everything else by default. Okay. So I go back at the first frame, and what I'm going to do, I'm gonna add now my custom tool, okay, we made. So the particle advection. And here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this one. We were looking, just make sure. Yeah. So, same one. Oops. Like this. And one thing I'm gonna do quickly. Oops. I'm just gonna create a new particle advection, allow editing, and I'm gonna change one small thing. Okay, to the parameters, if you go to source path on the channel, I'm just gonna erase here the default value, okay? And this, yeah, so now it's empty here. And I'm gonna click save, delete. Okay, so next time I create a new one, it should be empty, yeah. So count, I'm gonna go with a big amount. I wanna have a lot of small particles in there, okay? 20,000, 1.5. And I'm gonna turn off the display for now. Save my file. And let's see so far what we have. Okay, so we're going to change now some settings on our power solver because it's still everything by default. So timescale, we're going to leave it like this. Temperature diffusion, we're going to lower it to 0.4. Cooling rate a little bit slower. Buoyancy lift, make it small because I don't want it to lift up. 0.1. Combustion is on, so I'm gonna leave this as it is. Okay. Shape. So dissipation, really small. Okay, disturbance a little bit smaller. 0.45. Shredding, then turbulence and confinement. So first I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna lower it to the cutoff to 0.1. Block size 0.01. Make it really small. Now I'm gonna use the temperature, okay? Because I want to use my temperature to scale my disturbance, okay? I'm gonna make it an influence of 1 and go from 0 to 0.05, okay? Small values. Binding stays the same. Shredding, I'm gonna leave it as is. Sharpness we don't have. Turbulences, so swirl size, let's lower this to 0.03. Grain, we're going to make it 0.65. Pulse length of 2. Then higher turbulence, I'm gonna make it 3. And finally confinement, I'm gonna turn this one on. And I'm gonna use here the density. Okay. And control influence, I'm gonna make it 0.75. The ramp is good. Okay. So now, yeah, I'm using the density to control my confinement. Okay. And now I'm gonna change my advection again to BFECC. Again, that's a personal preference I have. So now let's play this again. We're going to upres that sim as well. Okay. So I just wanna, yeah, division size. I want it to have it smaller. So yeah, that's way better. So I'm just gonna change a few things, I think, with the emitter, because I'm just gonna go quickly here. Play a little bit with my fluid source here. So I'm gonna turn off minimum distance here to SDF from geometry, and I'm gonna fill it. Okay, I turned off the empty interior. So now if I go back to my sim, yeah, so it's filling in a better. Okay. And we can see how it's just interactive foreground. Okay, that works well. So I think this as a first element, it's pretty good. So I'm gonna leave it as is, and I'm gonna set up now the upres for it. I'm gonna turn off. No, I'm gonna leave it on because yeah, we know it doesn't do it always as we want if we don't display it. Let it to cook. So now container tools, upres. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Okay. So, oops, wrong button. Come here. So, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So I brought it up here, okay, outside my subnetwork. So I'm gonna just cut this, dive here. I'm gonna have to change the paths. So this we can get rid of anyway. This is gonna go here. This one is gonna be here. So upres dust 1. Oh, let's call it this one upres. Okay, and if I just make sure, yeah, so now this doesn't work, obviously. We don't want subnet. No. Okay, so I just have to get rid of the subnet part of my references. Yeah, that's kind of annoying because okay, let's go to yeah, I'm just gonna have to edit them one by one for now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna edit whatever references I have. Okay, so I'm just gonna get rid always of the subnet in there, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna continue. Okay. So what I finally did to save me time, I just made a small tool here. So what I'm doing, I'm first saving into a variable the part of the expression I want to replace. Okay, so subnet. Then I'm just grabbing all the selected nodes, and then I'm just going to go through every parameter. If it has an expression, I'm going to just try to see if in there I find the word subnet with a subnet one with a slash. So you might have to change this name with the name of yours, okay? And then if that's the case, I'm just replacing it by an empty string here. And then I'm setting the new expression, okay? And that's all I do. So like this, it just did it for me, went through every parameter for all the nodes because I select everything and just clicked on it, and it just updated all my expressions to be matching to the correct nodes. So I'm just gonna change still a couple of things now in here that so upres. So properties, so that's fine. 0.03, that's what I want. Instancing, then if I check my initial data, so that's fine as well. Let me check. So decimeter temperature. Okay, so that's fine. I just want to double check. Yeah. Okay. One thing I'm going to take out is the collision. I don't want to compute my collision in the upres. I don't have to do it anymore because I would do it on the low res. I'm just going to speed that up a little bit. Resize. So padding, I'm going to keep this. I shouldn't have to change anything in there, so that's fine. Max bound is off. My emitter shouldn't have to change anything either, and on my airbrush just here. So I'm gonna go straight to my shape. I'm gonna break my here. I'm gonna turn off the dissipation, turn on the turbulence, make it 0.75. So I leave it to curl, lower it, blur it just to 0.1. Frequency scale, I'm gonna lower it to 0.085, and temporal frequency 0.05. So turbulences, I'm gonna go to 5. Roughness, I'm gonna lower it a little bit. This is gonna be the same. This I leave it like this. Okay, so that's fine. Relationship. Okay, I leave it like this. Advanced. So advection. I'm gonna switch it to BFECC. Frame before solve. So that I'm gonna switch it to 1. Okay, so everything else should be good. Now I'm gonna go back up here, go into my import, and make a few changes in this and add everything else we will need. So let me just, I think am I missing something? I'm looking just for where. Oh yeah, no, that's normal. I was looking for node that I didn't create just yet. Okay. So before I go to this one, I'm just gonna create now my import my drop import node for the low-res sim. No, not this one. Drop import fields. There we go. So I'm gonna go for Pyro, and I'm just gonna import the density and the velocity for now. That's all I'm gonna use. So top network, the sim, then top node, the sim, test. Actually, wait. It's this one. I want to make this one. My bad. .io. That's the one I wanted to get. So there, and again, relative v test. So Pyro, and I'm gonna turn off all these because I don't need them for now. So import low res test sim. Now I'm gonna go here with a null. Appraise. Go quickly here. Go to the appraise node, initial data source, switch it to subpath, and now if I go here to, let me just close this dust. It's gonna be here import appraise because I didn't rename it yet. Okay, and I'm grabbing the underscore appraise. Okay. Okay, so that should be fine. So let's go back in this one and call this one dust 1. Okay. So we're going to do here the same we usually do. So again, sorry about that. Relative export. So we said appraise dust 1. Appraise, yes, accept. Like this. Okay. I'm gonna turn off the heat. I don't need it now. And I'm gonna create the standard network. So volume compress. So grab my preset. Then I'm gonna go with a delete. I'm gonna get rid of the velocity, so at name is equal at vel dot star. Copy paste. Now I'm gonna delete non-selected. Go with a volume resample. And go down to 0.45. Actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm gonna go straight down here and I'm gonna copy all this. Tac. Let me crop this one as well. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, copy, paste relative reference. And just gonna go here. Okay, so that should be fine. One primitive, the points, okay. So file this, I'm gonna call it dust. Same here. Dust. I'm actually thinking about changing this here to up name. What is this going to result? Yeah, I'm gonna go like this because at least I don't have to rename it every time in here. Okay, so just gonna copy this. It's going to make it even easier for me to just have up name instead of the name of the element plus up digits. So I'm gonna really quickly update those as well. So everything works just fine. So if I open, yeah, that's correct. So that's just a small update, but again, every time you see you can update, make something better, just do it. It's gonna make it easier for you later on. The last one here. Okay, so just double check quickly here. Okay, that's fine. So now I can go back in here. Okay, perfect. So here we should not have anything, and I'm gonna merge all these. So and we named it just out. Okay, perfect. there, and now I'm gonna go straight down here and add. I'm just gonna copy paste once again here, and actually let me just do the same here, just replace it by upname. Hold on. Yeah, this time it's not the parent node, but just the node itself we want to grab the name from. So if I go to Fire3, I'm going to Fire3. Okay, perfect. And now I'm gonna again update. Let me update this. Okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna copy paste this one, and I'm gonna call it dust1, and this is gonna be replaced by dust, and that's correct, dust1. Okay, and now I'm just gonna take them all out and just plug only the dust1. And if I go here, I'm gonna save my file. One thing I'm gonna do quickly here, I'm gonna create backdrop, call this one dust. Okay, save again, and I'm just gonna run my sim and get back to you once it's done. So this is the result of the cache. Okay, these are my particles advected by my fluids, and the last one, I'm not seeing anything, so let's check why the preview didn't work. So yeah, preview is empty, so let's just check what happened here. So I'm just cooking a couple of frames. Yeah, so I think I already see what's wrong, so I'm just gonna go here. Just stop it at the next frame. Okay, so problem is I don't have any heat, so I'm just gonna add here at name is equal to density. Oops, if I write it properly. Density. Okay, so now we have the density. Okay, so that's why it didn't work. Okay, because I was trying to just keep the heat only and not the density. So now I could just go here and just rewrite out my cache. Okay, without having to resim everything I just played at that frame. So I'm just having my low res going on. I'm not gonna do it now because it's not necessary, but yeah, that was the issue. Okay. So in the next video, we're going to set up the other dust layers. So we're gonna have 3 more layers.